Hello, I am
Mm.
here with my good friend Angela. This is the only expat that I actually know personally. I am sitting in her beautiful house. She's getting it ready to rent out for a couple of months so that she can go to Panama to live her best life. So I wanted to talk to her so that she could share some of her experiences with you guys in case some of you want to live your best life and be like Angela. Angela, introduce yourself and tell us why you chose Panama.
Okay, well, I'm Angela, originally from Michigan, retired from a long career with General Motors. And if if you knew me, then me being international, moving international, shouldn't be a surprise. I was the one in the family that left Michigan, the first one in the family to leave Michigan,
She got
and
out the box.
I got out the box. I always thought out the box. And then I had a career where I relocated 10 times with my career and three on my own, so like 13 moves. So it was not uncommon for me to move from one place to another. So I was exposed to international traveling and fell in love with the idea of learning and going to different places and cultures and learning um, about their cultures. But once I got to Panama, prior to Panama was Costa Rica. I was sold on Costa Rica until I went to Panama. Panama was everything Costa Rica was as far as beauty, as far as nature, rainforest, um, volcanoes, hot springs, everything that beautiful beaches, everything that I loved about Costa Rica was in Panama, except this was what took it over the edge and separated and made the difference for me. Is that Panama, first of all, they used the US dollar. So there wasn't any translating or converting your currency. Second thing was the community. The Black expat community in Panama is very cohesive, very tight. You will never feel alone. You will never feel out of place. People will reach out and help you um, navigate through the move or the visit, and and that alone, plenty and Black Panamanians, just to see us there in massive numbers that come together as a community and do things on a frequent basis was more than I have experienced in a long time. So I felt like I had a family immediately. And I went over to Panama. I've been traveling, going back and forth to Panama by myself. Uh, so the move was by myself, and I took 2 months to go over there just to check it out. And in that 2 months' time, I gained lifelong friends. I found a place to stay. I became a part of the Panamanian system, and I'm also getting my visa. So this is definitely for me. Now, for those of you that says, how can she afford to do keep a house here in Houston and a house, a place in Panama? Well, I'm not rich. Trust me, I am living on a retirement budget. But in order for me to pull this off, I came up with the idea to rent my house. So I use furnished finders and different platforms that appeal to people like traveling nurses, relocation, executive relocation, military relocations, people that are in transition, they're building a home maybe, and they need a place to stay. It's completely furnished. Everything that they need is here: pots, pans, linen, everything. All they need to do is just bring themselves and their clothes and personal items. So that's my market that I appeal to, and so far it's working. So while they're renting here, I'm there
And she just got it rented about 30 minutes ago
for the second time.
for the second time to a family who don't know where they want to live in Houston area, but they're going to try it here for 2 months, and maybe I can help them find their permanent spot after that.
Or she can keep them looking for another 2 more months
Or
for a
that.
total of 4.
Or they can rent your place for another.
Year until they really are ready. Yeah,
Because
they may decide to build.
she's going to be there.
Mm-hmm. That's definite.
So, what are some of the fun things you do over there that's different from what you do over here?
I guess because everything is so new, and that's a tourist place, so there's so much to do. So I'm a tourist when I'm there, even though now I'm a resident. I play tourist. I pull out the tourist guide and look for places and things to do. I've done that bus sight to see, what is it? Get off, get on bus ride two or
Hop
three
on,
times,
hop
hop
off.
off, right.
Hmm.
I do that several times.
Hmm.
I go to all the point of interest for Panama.
Hmm.
My favorite thing to do, because I love real estate, is to go apartment shopping. So I get with different realtors and let them show me available property so I can look for where I really, where I want my next move is going to be. They say that the average person moves around maybe once a year for 3 or 4 years before they find their forever apartment that they want to be in.
But you were telling me there are some people that go there for a year or two and then they go to another country.
Right. So, a true expat, which I have met several of them, or nomads is what they call themselves also, but they it's just a pit stop. They have completely immersed themselves into widening their scope of places to live and cultures and things to see. And one of my good friends, she's originally from Dallas, retired, moved to Portugal, and now has moved from Portugal to Panama. And who knows where is next on her list. A good friend of mine that I met just before I left, we became real good friends. He's a chef, and he has lived all over, but he's now in Panama and next month moving to Thailand. So it's just a beautiful thing to see Black people moving around and navigating themselves into, cultures and places that most average person never think to do. These people are doing.
And most average people don't know people that are doing that. They may, see them on, YouTube or whatever, but they don't really know them. Can't touch them and feel them. And she's doing it. She's doing it. So that's very encouraging, and
Hmm.
it's good to know. So I know somebody else who's about to be a nomad. She's gonna go from Houston to Chicago to Ohio to Mexico, and she's gonna be doing some of the things that you're doing as well and
Hmm.
move around. So there's nothing wrong with that. It's something we can do nowadays. We weren't able to do those things back in my days.
Hmm.
I'm 66.
And honestly, it took a good friend of mine to kind of pave the way to show me that, hey, I've did it, so anybody can do it. And she opened my eyes. She owned a home in Costa Rica and gave me access to it anytime I want.
I went with her.
So, yep, I'd take my friends down there. I made it. It was my house. Basically, I treated it. It was like my house, and I took people around all the points of interest that I knew about, and knowing that she owned a home there, I asked myself, if she can do it, why can't I do it? Okay, so no, I'm retired and she's still working. She's a thriving engineer making a lot of money. Um, so I had to be creative to figure out, okay, if I wanted to do something similar, how could I do it? And that's how I came up with the idea. Well, I'll rent my house while I travel.
Okay, so let me ask this question. The dog is licking my foot. How much is the average? Let's just go with a one bedroom apartment over there with the view, and what does it look like, and what's the process if somebody wanted to get an apartment over there for a year or a few months to check it out? What do you
Okay.
recommend?
Okay. So, never buy. They say whatever you do, don't go over there and buy because you'll be, um, astonished at the cost of houses there. You got to remember, you're coming from the United States going to Central America. The average Panamanian can't even, their wages isn't our wages. So where expats live are primarily geared toward expats. So they're going to be your more expensive or more high end areas to live in. And because they know expats have more money than the average Panamanian, they that comes with a price tag. But this is how I equate it: a one bedroom overlooking the ocean with an ocean view, right on the main strip, which is Alvita Balboa, across the street from the Cinta Costera, which is a big 4 mile walking trail right next to the ocean. To have access to that, about 1600 for a furnished, really nice furnished one bedroom apartment. 1600. And it's just modestly furnished but nice. If you really want to go luxury, then we're talking 2 grand or a little more, between two and 2,000, 2,500. Well, 2,000 buys you a one bedroom here with no view, So
Right.
when you compare that to if you had the same thing and you were in Miami or downtown Chicago overlooking Lake Michigan, we're talking thousands and thousands of dollars, probably $5,000 to $10,000 a month, where 2 grand will get you that same thing with spare change, with money to spare.
Now, with that, does a chef or a maid or anything like that come with it?
Average person gets maid service. It's so cheap there that it doesn't come with, but it's like $25-$35 a week.
Nice,
Mm-hmm.
nice.
So the Ubers, no one has cars. Expats, we don't drive because they drive crazy, very, very crazy over there. Um, so we all use Uber, and Uber is a lot cheaper than it is here in the States. So for a couple of bucks, you could go across town.
And you
And,
getting rid of your car.
and my lease is up. I've always leased cars. My lease is up September 1st, which works perfect now that I've got a tenant coming in the end of
August.
August. So this is perfect timing for me. So I turn in the keys to my car, and no more car note, no more gas bill, and no more
No more
insurance.
insurance,
Hmm.
the maintenance and registration and all of
Yeah,
that.
I might just up my apartment, go to one of those with luxury in the sky, overlooking the ocean one way and the city view the other way.
So let's talk food now.
Yes, 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 yes. So food is absolutely delicious, and anything that your heart's desire, your mouth can think of, you can find it in Panama. But Panama main staple is like rice and beans. Basically, your Spanish type dishes is what Panamanians um, go toward. But we're talking a different taste because you will find that when you eat a steak there, you might think it tastes funny, but what you're tasting is from the farm to the plate meat, not injected, with hormones to make them grow fatter and bigger and faster. And
Hmm.
chicken even tastes fresher, and milk actually spoils after a week or so in the refrigerator. Everything doesn't have additives to give it longer shelf life. It's you can taste the freshness. In fact, Panama will not import a lot of American products, especially their meats and fruits and vegetables, because of our
Because
so
our food is crap.
right. USDA isn't really USDA approved. Don't mean shit, nor
Hmm.
do organic or any of that. But yeah, but organic is really organic there.
Now, does their fruits and vegetables have seeds in it over there?
I didn't eat a lot of stuff. I had pineapples,
Okay.
papaya.
You didn't eat
I'm
any oranges or apples or
Mm-mm.
to
In
see
fact,
if they had
that's not
seeds.
even really a tropical fruit. You
Hmm.
go to the grocery store, you don't really see apples and oranges. You see papaya, mango, kiwi,
Okay, kiwi's
all
good.
kind of other fruits. Yeah.
honestly. I heard
Bananas.
I heard apples you buy in the store have been picked a year earlier. I don't know how true that is because it seemed like they would have rotted by now. But if they're not real apples,
Right, right. I mean, YouTube shows some stuff out there that make you really wonder, am I eating a real apple or not? I swear to God, I had
genetically engineered
I
apple.
I'm a hoarder, and I've had some food. I had some apples in my refrigerator, I know, for months. So when I had the refrigerator cleaned for my last tenant, um, I threw those apples away, but they were perfectly fine. 4 months they've been sitting in my bin in the refrigerator.
So it's quite
Something's
possible.
wrong with a apple that does not rot, in 4 months. These were
Mhm.
perfectly edible, perfectly fine.
Let's see, what else would I want to know? How long does it take to fly there?
From Houston on a direct flight, it's about 3.5 hour flight. So it's really no different than going to
To
Chicago or
Chicago.
home or New York or Miami.
Wow.
Yeah, so never let that be a deterrent that, oh, that's so far, because it's really not.
And the price of an airline ticket.
It's pricey. Okay, that's where we get a little pricey. Now, Costa Rica it was much cheaper. I don't know why it's so much cheaper to fly to Costa Rica, which is next door, but it borders Panama.
Mm,
But average cost for a plane ticket prior to this high cost of gas was about $1,000
that's
round
round
trip.
trip.
Hmm.
Okay. So you get your ducats together, and then when you first go, you can either stay at a hotel or Airbnb until you figure out the apartment thing. And okay,
Yeah. What I did when I went over there scouting was that I was there for 2 months. So every 2 weeks, I would move into a different Airbnb. So I had 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. Yeah. Well, I ended up in four different Airbnbs strategically placed all in different places around town that expats live, basically. Now, if you really want to live inexpensively, and I'm talking, I got a girlfriend that's got a 3 bedroom, nicely furnished apartment for $800, but she's not near anything. She's not living near expats, and she'll tell you that she's getting kind of tired of paying for an Uber to come into town to where all the happenings is, where, which is the area that I live in. Um, but for the most part, you can live very economically there. Your dollar definitely does stretch further, but you'll get there and get awed by the sea view and realize that you can afford it, and you'll do what the average expat does the first year. That we wake up after the first year. Once you've had that sea view for a year or that city view for a year, then you're ready to come make sense and live more economically. But
well, at
yeah,
least you did it.
but at least you did it. You only live once.
Right. And you can
Hmm.
say, yep, I did that.
Yep.
Yep, I've done that.
Yep.
So, where do you see yourself in, let's say, 5 years from now?
5 years from now, I can't say that Panama is my forever place, but Panama will definitely be my base, and I will continue to travel. And who knows, I might end up in Portugal or Thailand or maybe hit them all
Because you'll know people
because
now
I
that
know
is
people,
going and living
right?
in these other places.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I can't think of another question. Got anything else you want to add or share?
Do your homework before you venture. If you have interest in traveling and you want to um, you're thinking about it, do your homework, because there are plenty of Facebook groups out there like Black Panama. There's so many of them out there on Black Facebook groups and WhatsApp chats. So yeah, just kind of pop into some of the Facebook groups, see how they're communicating, ask questions. They're very good about answering questions, or search your question in that Facebook group, because trust me, it's been asked before. It's always the
Hmm.
same questions. How much does it cost to live there? This, the same routine questions come up over and over again. So you don't even have to bother them. Just search within that Facebook group and you'll find your answers.
Oh,
Yep.
thank you very much.
My pleasure. See you in Panama.
All right.